All right, let's dive right in. If you've ever wondered where you come from, who your ancestors were, or how they actually lived, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to turn you into a genealogical detective using nothing but your internet connection. Imagine uncovering your family's hidden past without spending a dime. Stay tuned to learn how to unlock the secrets of old census records online for free. We're completely bypassing those expensive monthly subscriptions and exploring the absolute best ways to trace your roots directly through the archives. Think of today's explainer as our explorer's roadmap. We'll start with unlocking old census records and where to find them for free. Then we'll navigate the databases, interpret and troubleshoot the data, walk through a real-world search example, and finally look at expanding your genealogy journey. So Part 1, Unlocking Old Census Records, the true foundation of family history. Let's talk about what these are and why they are an absolute gold mine. You know, the census is way more than just a simple head count. It's literally a time machine. You aren't just getting a name, you're getting a rich snapshot of their daily life. You find out their exact ages, where they and their parents were born, and the specific year they emigrated. You learn what they did for a living, if they owned or rented their house, and even the value of their personal belongings. It places your ancestors at a specific street address on a very specific day in history. Now here's a magic number you absolutely need to remember: 72. In the United States, there's a privacy law known as the 72-year rule. Basically, personal census data is kept strictly confidential for exactly 72 years after it's collected. For us, that means the 1950 census, which just dropped for the public in April 2022, is the most recent one we can freely dig into right now. Moving on to Part 2, where to find free records, looking at both global and U.S. resources. Let's map out exactly where to go so you never hit a paywall. Okay, let's break down the heavy hitters. For U.S. records, the National Archives, or NARA, has original images from 1790 all the way up to 1950. Then there's Family Search, a massive global giant run by the Genealogical Society of Utah that gives you incredible international coverage with really advanced search filters. If you have roots in the UK, FreeCen is this phenomenal volunteer-transcribed project covering 1841 to 1891. And for Irish Ancestry, the National Archives of Ireland is a totally free gateway to their surviving 1901 and 1911 census. Get this. Here's a fascinating, if slightly heartbreaking, historical quirk. Unlike the US or the UK, Australia traditionally just destroys its census data after generating their statistical reports. They pull the numbers and literally shred the names. This means any surviving Australian records are incredibly precious, and researchers usually have to rely on workarounds like electoral rolls or passenger lists. I have to share this hidden gem with you, Heritage Quest Online. It's a massive commercial-grade database powered by Ancestry. But here's the best part. You can often get in entirely for free. How? Just by using your local public library card to log into their portal. It unlocks you with census images, local history books, Revolutionary War files, and the incredibly vital Freedmen's Bank records, which are an absolute must for tracing African-American ancestors right after the Civil War. All right, Part 3. Navigating and searching databases with strategies for success. How do we actually dive into these systems? Let's compare a couple of approaches. Family Search is incredibly robust, but you do have to create a free account to use its search engine and save your tree. On the flip side, US GenWeb is an amazing grassroots alternative with a purely open access philosophy. That means absolutely no registrations, no logins, zero paywalls. You literally just pick a state and county, and boom. You have direct access to local, volunteer-transcribed documents. Both are phenomenal, just totally different vibes. Now, here is your game plan. Always start your research with the most recent available census, like the 1951, and work your way backward in time. At first, keep your search terms super broad to account for weird typos made by the original census taker. Once you get some hits, then you can refine by birth year or county. And a huge tip, never give up after one try. If Family Search comes up empty, check the National Archives. Different sites use different algorithms. Section 4. Interpreting and troubleshooting data to break through those brick walls. Because it's inevitable you'll get stuck. Meet your absolute best friend, Soundex. Picture a census taker standing on a noisy porch back in 1880, trying to spell a complicated immigrant surname they've literally never heard before. They are going to spell it exactly how it sounds, which means it will look completely wrong in a modern text search. Soundex fixes this. It's a clever coding system that groups names by how they sound, ignoring vowels and focusing entirely on consonants. Turn on the SoundX filter, and you'll catch all those wild phonetic variations. Next up, we have enumeration districts, or EDs. Think of this as the exact walking path assigned to one specific census taker. Understanding EDs is absolutely vital because sometimes a name is just indexed so terribly or not indexed at all that no search will find it. If you know the ED, you bypass the name search entirely and just browse geographically, literally turning the digital pages exactly as a census taker walked down the street. Let's look at Part 5, a real-world search example using a 1950 rural address. So what happens when the system completely fails you? Imagine you've got an old 1950 letter with the exact rural address for your grandparents, but typing their name into the search bar is giving you nothing, 0 results. You know they live there, but the index isn't cooperating. How would we find them? Enter Steve Morse's one-step web pages. This is literally a game changer in the genealogy world. You just go to his free ED Finder tool, plug in the state, county, city, and cross streets from that old letter, and it calculates the exact 1950 enumeration district for that block. Then you take that number straight over to the National Archives website, plug it in, and browse the handwritten images street by street until you see your grandparents' house. It's a brilliant workaround. Finally, Part 6, expanding your genealogy journey well beyond the census. Once you've got the hang of the census, the historical adventure really opens up. The Library of Congress has amazing free land ownership maps and photo collections. The Freedmen's Bank records are indispensable for bridging the gap before the 1870 census for African American research. Tracing Irish roots? The Tithe Appletment books track rural land occupiers to make up for lost censuses. And definitely check out the non-population agricultural schedules. They will literally tell you how many pigs your great-grandpa owned and exactly what crops he was growing. We have covered so much ground in this explainer today, from navigating the National Archives to outsmarting the search engines. You are totally equipped to bypass the paywalls and jump straight into the archives. Every single name written in cursive on those old, dusty pages is a real person with a real story, just waiting for you to find it. So I have to ask, what historical mystery will you uncover in your family tree today? The information provided in this video is intended for educational purposes only. While every effort has been made to ensure accuracy, viewers are encouraged to verify details through their personal research and consult professional genealogists as necessary. Keep searching, stay curious, and happy hunting.